Big day on Saturday for a lot of reasons.
Well, big game, first of all.
The three of us, three Musketeers.
That's right.
And we got the, are we filming like a chill episode or something?
The streets are saying there are rumors that the three of us might be filming an episode, yeah.
But this is how we chill. But this is how we chill. But this is how we chill. But this is how we chill.
I'm Jim Palmer.
I'm Ben McDonald.
I'm Kevin Brown. Welcome to the Chill.
Get your clothes on.
Not the pitcher, Kevin Brown. The
No,
broadcaster,
certainly
Kevin Brown.
not. I've made
Any trouble buttoning that?
considerably less money. You think I should
Ben,
button?
can you help him with the buttons?
We might have get you a bigger size.
Just medium. I'm gonna button one more button.
What is your favorite line or catchphrase from one of your broadcast partners?
Ooh. I can answer this one. I like when Ben says, dancing like a minnow in shallow water.
yeah.
Not a minnow.
A minute.
A
That's
minnow.
right. That's how we say it at home.
M-I-N-N-A. Minnow.
When you say we're going to go catch some deer,
Good point.
That's literally a catchphrase.
And I told him
Yeah.
if he ever
Not a
caught,
harvest phrase.
if he ever caught one, he'd never do it again. That's one of the things you do once, and then you figure out I don't want to catch one of those again.
so what do you do then?
You don't catch them. That's the idea.
Okay,
You harvest them.
We harvest. Politically correct. You harvest the animal.
Do you have an answer to this question?
Favorite catchphrase?
Yeah. I don't know if we really have catchphrases. Here you go. Put these on.
What is this? Are these prescription?
It'll help you think better.
now you'll come up with something.
I look like Tom Cruise in Risky Business now.
Well, no, you got to get up in your underwear and
Don't tempt me.
That'd be really risky.
I got my LSU underwear on.
no.
Oh yeah.
That's
Hey,
definitely true.
I'm going through. What state do you live in? Louisiana. I'm going to Louisiana. I'm in Baton Rouge, and I call them and I said, where can you get some Gator nuggets? That's exciting.
You know, I just
For
was.
some people, that's
I'm
exciting.
advertising because I want to do a Hanes brief commercial
No,
like you
jockey,
did years ago.
jockey.
Jockey. I'm sorry,
19
jockey.
years. 19 years.
It wasn't. It was 19 years ago.
No, it was for 19 years.
You did it for
You
19
did
years.
it for 19 years?
I did.
When did
Well,
you
it was
start?
store appearances, underwear.
Can you get me a jockey commercial? I'm
No,
gonna
I
walk
can't
around in
even
my
get free
underwear.
underwear anymore. So, where were we?
All right, we're on my question. Fan, what concert would you want to be on stage for? You go first.
Like performing or just on stage?
I think this means performing, like singing, or helping out, or background vocals, or playing a violin, or whatever.
Yeah, well, obviously my two answers were Here's to the Night and Joan Jett. I got to do both of those. So after that, can I travel back in time? I would say I would like to be on stage at Live Aid with Queen.
Really? Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Not that Freddie Mercury would want me to join him, but I would like to be.
Freddie didn't need you.
No. Hey-oh! You know?
Hey,
No, that's different.
Okay, that's close.
You're doing the banana boat.
What you gonna be on? If you had to
we
go.
already did that. I was on
stage.
stage with Donna Summers
Oh,
on the radio, and she did it.
Well,
And then he said,
did you sing? Did you sing a little bit?
on the radio?
Okay.
That's a line in one of her, discos. I mean, it's Donna Summers. And then he goes, "Well, was she any good?" I go, "Yeah, she was. That was her voice perfect, with the perfection." Donna Summers.
What you got?
I'm gonna go old school. Little Hank Williams Jr.
Really? Like, can
Country Boy Can Survive.
Fan question. What's the most interesting fan interaction you've had?
go ahead? Fan interaction?
Yeah.
When I would pitch on a Sunday, it was the only day that I wouldn't sign autographs from Memorial Stadium. So I would go up to the second floor and I parked my car on the other side because I wanted to go home and be with my girls. So if you didn't pitch well, now you're walking through the crowd. And
You got to hear about it.
yeah, you had to hear about it, yeah. And then when I hurt my elbow, some guy walks up and he goes, "Can I have your autograph?" And I said, "Well, let me tell you something. I said, I'm a pretty talented guy, but the one thing I can't do is sign an autograph without a pen.
I want you to write in blood when you have a bad day.
So go away.
How brushing your teeth go? All right? Left-handed?
Yes. Thank you, Ben.
You're amphibious.
There are a lot of little tasks I think would be hard to do. You know, showering, other things.
What glasses?
I do need glasses. What's your most interesting fan interaction?
I would get two. One, probably opening up this ballpark in '92 and being a part of that when Camden Yards opened in '92. That opening weekend was pretty special against Cleveland. And then honestly, in recent years, I think when we did the 3-man booth out on the roof deck, that was pretty cool, going through the crowd on Utah Street and meeting a lot of folks, hanging out with the folks, and then going up to the roof deck and having a little shot of bourbon, celebrating who won the national championship that year out of baseball? LSU.
Oh, it
That's
was
right.
LSU.
Thanks for reminding
Yeah.
me. That was LSU. I forgot LSU.
Can I go back and maybe add a little bit of the weirdest thing when
Yeah.
Gary Thorne and I were going out to go to the roof deck, and Gary sees a woman taking my picture at the statue. And she goes, well, why don't you take a picture with him? He goes, I don't need him. She had no idea who I was. Even though
If you'd have done this,
yeah, right, exactly.
she'd have recognized it.
I'll get out of here and all that. And
Oh,
Gary,
my God.
Gary thought that was quite humorous. for the
Has
rest of us,
anybody ever asked you guys to sign anything strange, like to sign their forehead or
but
something?
Underwear. I did
Underwear, foreheads, babies' foreheads one time.
No.
Yeah, like an infant forehead in permanent mark. I said, this is permanent. She said, please sign. I said,
Well,
okay.
you were the
this?
you were
It
the
was a-
number one draft.
It was in Baltimore years ago.
Really?
Yeah, at a function.
I just saw a kid on the street a few days ago walking over with a McDonald's.
He's gonna be old now. He ain't be a kid no more. He'd be like 40.
But Ben, the big question: have you learned to do it backwards so that when they look in the mirror, they'll know who? you
No,
are?
I'm not that talented.
See?
I only got in 5 semesters. I got in 5 semesters at LSU. The 6th semester would have probably backwards writing.
Weirdest thing, fan interaction.
Oh, any fan who wants me to sign anything is a weird interaction, I think. Every time somebody asks me to sign a baseball that a player has signed, I go, you know this is going to truly devalue this ball, right?
And you sign it anyway?
I sign it anyway, yeah.
Yeah. What-
It's a free market.
How do we do games? That's the big question.
I don't know. This is probably not that dissimilar from one of our actual broadcasts.
Chill.
Personal. What size belt do you wear? No. What is the weirdest event you ever called?
Oh, that's a good one for you.
You've got this.
What? Well, I
Ski jumping.
yeah. How do you remember that?
You told me the story.
Well,
That's really cool.
When I worked for ABC, part of my contract was I could do other events, and they obviously were trying to save money, so they asked me to do wide world of sports events. I did 3 of them. I did the in Oberstdorf, Northwest Germany. I did ski jumping, and I did ski flying in Planitia, Yugoslavia, and I did the Grand National Steeplechase. So the first one was in Oberstdorf, and Andreas Bauer won the 120-meter jump. And I was working with Jeff Hastings. Never done play in my life. So we're up there, and because it's West Germany, instead of sending it early, they're going to do it live. I do the show. We're standing on a stage at 10:30 at night. I'm talking to Frank Gifford. No monitor. I hear this music, and I said to the guy down on the snow, my IFB's falling back. It's snowing and all this stuff. I said, what's that? He said, I think we might be on.
We're on the air. You might want to start talking.
I go, we might be on. I can't see because there's no monitor. So anyway, apparently they black out the winning jump of Andreas Bauer winning it, but I don't know that because I don't have a monitor. And then I go back to the hotel, and Kirk Gowdy Jr., who was the executive producer, phone rings, and he goes, Hoss, how you doing? And I go, how am I doing?
My weirdest thing I've ever called is probably not nearly as weird as that. That's a great answer. I've done Japanese baseball, but not from Japan, from a tiny studio in Stamford, Connecticut at 5 in the morning.
Here's a funny one for you. I helped call a donkey basketball game where you ride the donkeys around about 15 years ago at my high school. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You ever seen a donkey? You ever been to a donkey basketball game? Where the guys ride the donkeys around the basketball court?
Ben, we're not from Louisiana.
Oh, come on. I thought everybody's seen one of those.
We might have seen it, but we didn't.
You've seen it. You know what I'm talking about then. The guys ride the donkeys around, they pass the ball to each other, and they shoot.
Genuinely have no idea what you're talking about.
You've seen it.
If you want me to, yeah,
Okay,
I'll
see.
admit to it.
So everybody rides a donkey. So there's 5 donkeys on each team.
Where is the shot? I mean, are you in a corral or are you?
No, it's in a gym.
Well, what are they on hardwood?
Maybe if I went to the gym, I would see
What do
this.
they have? They have
basketball.
Hey, they have.
Oh, that one.
Basketball.
Do they have tennis shoes on or what? These donkeys?
No, they put a tarp down so they don't
okay.
scratch the floor.
Yeah.
And there's like 5 donkeys on each side and 5 guys riding each donkey. And you got to grab the ball
Were
and pass
you-
to each other and go down the
Were you
street.
the color guy or the play-by-play guy?
I don't know. I was just doing one or the other. Donkey number 5 scores. That's what I would say.
Are there fouls in donkey basketball?
No, you can't really foul each other.
Did you we have baseball savant? Did you have like
No, I didn't.
donkey savant?
I didn't get no sprint speed on the donkeys or any of that kind of stuff. I didn't do probability of making that shot or anything.
Did they have 3 points and all that?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
yeah. But it's hard. I mean, you can imagine sitting on a donkey. Not many guys could heave one.
Probably the most important question. Did you do this more than once?
No, just once.
Did you do this sober?
Yeah.
Do you wish that you had done it? Maybe where you had a
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'd seen them before. I would like to play in one of them, to be
It's
honest.
just like
I think I'd have the advantage because donkeys are shorter and I got long legs, so I could almost probably touch the ground by straddling the donkey, so I might have an
you would
advantage.
cheat. Yeah.
That's got
Well, it's not cheating, it's
Yes,
just
it
you
would
got
be
longer
cheating.
legs.
That would be
It could be
cheating.
cheating. You don't know the
Good-
rules.
good
Actually, you
sound
probably
does.
know the rules more than us. You call
I don't think there are rules, that many rules.
Was it a charity thing?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So it's for a good cause.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
What was the
I don't
charity?
know, you're going to ask, I don't know what cause. I think it was raising money for our high school, actually.
Okay, that's nice.
Were there many people there?
The gym was full.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is
Hey, I'd go to a donkey basketball game, right?
Because you got to go see it once.
Yeah.
well, this is like a weekend event, or was it?
It was like a Friday night.
Yeah. Okay. So like in Texas, they have college, high school football is big.
It's big in
Friday
Texas.
night.
Everything's
Louisiana,
big in
donkey
Texas.
In Louisiana, it's
Donkey basketball night.
Okay, there you go.
We're really
Good to
gonna
know.
Come visit you sometime.
Gator nuggets.
You're coming gator hunting.
Y'all be the bait.
You just don't know. When
You
you're
do
gonna be
know
bait.
that.
How fast can you swim?
The year that I tried to
to
make
find out.
Hey, the year I tried to make the comeback was in '91 or 90, whatever.
I was there.
You put a baby gator in somebody's bathtub.
Oh yeah. I got in trouble for that. I caught a gator in spring training. One afternoon, it taped its mouth shut and put it in my bathtub. And the next morning, I had a big duffel bag and I just brought it into the clubhouse in spring training. I kept his mouth shut, so he wouldn't bite nobody. And I just went and set it over by my locker and just unzipped the duffel bag and walked away. 5 minutes later, you should have heard the screams. There was actually guys on top of their lockers and everybody else was half naked out in the parking lot. This thing's running around the clubhouse doing laps. People are running. Roland called me in, Heeman called me in. Ben, probably shouldn't be doing those things.
Did he give you a list of people that he wanted to get off the team?
Then wildlife and fisheries show up, and I got to go talk to them. I said, "I'll let it go. It's in the pond out front at Twins Lakes. I didn't harm it." Is it my turn?
Yeah. Who knows? We're complete chaos.
When you watch sports, which broadcaster is in your what's that word?
Head.
Uh-oh. Which broadcaster is that?
How is that the word you didn't know?
He's from.
Was
I
that the
can't
sixth semester?
see it. Which broadcaster's in your head calling the game?
I mean, I watch games with the volume on. So the only person who's in my head is the person who's calling the actual game. If I will sometimes watch a game and think, what would I say here? How would I approach this moment? How would I toss to an analyst? So I'll be in my head, which I typically am anyway.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. I mean, I like to listen to baseball or any sport because now that's what I've done for so long. And it's kind of like going to the ballpark. Most people you talk to that are baseball people say very rarely do you go to the ballpark, whether it's a broadcaster, a player, or coach, whatever, you don't learn something that day, something new,
Yeah.
another way to look at something. And that's the way I look at broadcast. But in my head, John Sterling.
I like listening to Cakes because his memory of the past is unmatched,
I
and
live
the
in
way
the
he
past.
can. It's cheaper to live in the past. That's what somebody told me one time. His memory it amazes me, always has, and so I like listening to the stories. One of my other favorites is not doing it that much anymore. Rick Sutcliffe. I always thought Sut called a good game. His storytelling, the way he explained the game was simple and he told some great stories
Plus, he
too.
pitched that first weekend.
Yeah,
at
pitched the
Camden
very
Yards,
first
pitched a
game here at
shutout.
Camden Yards. So
Yeah. Shut out the former
Cleveland Guardians
Guardians.
was the
Yeah,
Indians at
we're
the time.
Indians, yeah.
You had a shutout in game 3?
I threw game 3 and threw a shutout. Yeah.
Who failed in game 2? Did somebody give up a run?
I think we lost to Bob Malachy, and we got shut out by 2 pitchers for Cleveland that day. And then I threw a shutout in game 3. Yeah.
Probably the only time ever in the history of the ballpark there have been 3 shutouts in 3 consecutive games.
That's right. Probably so. And it was kind of cool. That was the only
I
reason.
do remember when I first saw Camden Yards, I go, boy, I'm glad I didn't pitch here. 364, the power alley. You would have to pitch totally different, but I said, see that wall, which is now like a national park because they moved it back. It's only like 7 feet tall, and I go, boy, there are going to be a lot of balls that outfielders are going to jump and fans are going to reach over because there was no barrier between the first row. And Paul Sorrento hit a home run probably in that game 2 to left center, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
You said something about his memory?
See?
How has your perspective of broadcasting changed over the years? Jim, you have been doing it longer than we have.
It's better. I mean, it's better. I think it's, well, we're lucky. I've worked at ABC, did a Little League World Series, 13 out of 15 years. So when I first started, it was, hey, great game, Monday night game, great game, see you next week. And then Kirk Gowdy Jr. came in. We did the Wide World of Sport stuff, and his dad was one of the great announcers. I mean, did everything in the Broadcasting Hall of Fame. And Kirk, all of a sudden, you do a Monday night game on. Tim McCarver would call me on Wednesday. He said, "Don't answer the phone." I go, "What do you mean?" He said, "Kurt just called. You talked over a pitch. With 2 strikes, you tagged too many things. You did that." So I kind of learned about that. But we're lucky. And we had Dawn Diaz, who's our producer, and she's as good as anybody I've ever worked with for all these years, and she makes us accountable. And I think when you work with people, and you're great at what you do, you're a boy wonder. And I learned a long time ago, hey, people, when you win, and the Orioles are starting to win ball games, people think you're great. Otherwise, I don't know about you guys, but if I'm watching a game and my team's not winning, change the channels.
A lot more people have said nice things the last couple of years, I think, which makes sense, right? We just naturally have more joy, and you can have more fun. You can always have fun, right? Like sometimes the games that are the most fun are when your team's down 12-1 in the 8th, and you can get onto some kind of a goofy silly tangent. Because if you're down 12-1, if the Orioles are down 12-1, how are you going to keep the audience? People are not really invested in the pitch necessarily. They don't think they're going to come back from down 11. So what can we do to make it entertaining, make it educational, inform people, let people feel like they're just sitting in beach chairs with us having a good time? Which is my philosophy, is try to be entertaining and try to educate. And I think it's why the 3 of us work so well together, because I know I can go somewhere and you guys can follow, and I know if you'll go somewhere, I'll be able to at least pretend to follow.
Ben, you're really good at what you do, but I learned, and I don't know if you agree with this, the key to being a good color guy, you got to do your homework, and you got to go out in the field, which we all try to do, but you got to listen to your play-by-play guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No doubt.
maybe some
It helps
nights
us
you
to be
don't
in
want,
sync.
even some nights you don't want to.
Yeah.
Because that's the key, the communication, and otherwise it's deja vu. Kevin says something, and then about 45 seconds later you go, "By the way, Kevin, did you ever hear about?" Yeah, if you're not listening to somebody, you can really make a fool out of yourself.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can do that anyway.
Oh, it just takes one word or two, or it's one sentence,
we
so
get
it gets
fired
in
for
trouble.
it. If you say the wrong couple of words,
If you say, for instance, catching deer,
It could stick. It could stick. I don't
or in Long Island.
in Long Island.
you don't want to say that.
No, on Long Island.
Yeah, on
there's
Long Island.
certain things, certain rules.
I think when I first started broadcasting 22 years ago, I ran into I might have told you all this story. I ran into and I was just learning, like, they just threw me out there. I wasn't keeping score. I wasn't taking notes. Like, I wasn't doing anything. So probably like you, I had to kind of learn on the fly. And I ran into an older lady at Walmart in my hometown. And she said, "You're so-and-so." I said, "Yes, ma'am." LSU baseball was on CST. It was no SEC network or ESPN stuff. And she said, "I like what you do." I said, tell me what you like about it. She said, you keep the game simple. She said, I don't know much about baseball, but when I listen to you, I understand the game the way you, and that was kind of a light bulb moment for me to say, okay, I may bore some people that know a lot about baseball, but I'm always going to keep it simple and try to attract the person that's watching the game for the first time to bring them in, or people that are new to the game of baseball to kind of bring them, because we can talk about, and there's a time to talk about analytics and spin rates and all those things that are a little more complicated. But at the end of the day, most people are just baseball fans, and I've always just tried to keep it simple. The biggest adjustment for me, and I think for you too, is, I think you'll agree with this over the years, is remembering how hard the game was. Because from where we sit now, the game looks really easy. And sometimes I got to smack myself and go, this game's a hard game.
Yeah,
Like
TD slows the game down.
it's hard down there. It looks easy from where we sit now, but it's not an easy game. And so it's weird. You got to walk the fine line of never demeaning people, but being honest, because that's where we get our credibility from what we see, and being honest. And when somebody should have caught a ball or made a play, I think we got to be honest and say they should have caught that ball, should have made that play, but not in a demeaning kind of way. So that's kind of the biggest challenge for me, is remembering how hard the game was.
I think we solved it.
Did we?
I think we solved all the problems of the world, frankly.
So when we do travel a lot, what's the one item that you can't leave home without?
My LSU,
Probably.
LSU underwear.
it's my LSU underwear.
Gotta have my iPad.
That was,
I'm right in between LSU underwear and iPad. What do I actually? Here's my actual answer to this question. I have very specific pens I use.
Not as many as this.
No, Ben has lots of different.
I got a
colors.
collection, yeah.
I have these very specific Uniball black and blue pens. They're not the micro point, but they're a small enough point to where I can write a ton of things in my scorebook. I have the Bob Carpenter scorebook. Bob Carpenter, our friend, voice of the Nats, has developed this scorebook. I have to have that. I have to have the pens. I have to have certain things in black and certain things in blue in the scorebook every game. Otherwise, it just drives me crazy.
Explains it, doesn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
But this is how we chill.